Back in 2018 and 2019, the main Naruto meta was solar system, based on Kaguya's dimensions having stars in certain scans. Nowadays, Naruto proponents will try to argue that Naruto is uni based on multiple different statements and showings. In this video, I'll attempt to debunk what I believe to be the three main arguments for uni Naruto. The first one is the most basic one, and it posits that Kaguya's dimensions are universal in size, and that she created them and that she was going to destroy them, therefore she scales to uni, and Naruto scales to her, therefore Naruto also scales to uni. The second one was popularized by somebody named Amaterasu, or the Transcendent One, on TikTok. He claims that since Kaguya was warping entire spacetimes, she would scale to uni. The third and final one is sometimes a uni argument, but sometimes also a multiversal argument. And this one was popularized by Noodles. He claims that the Road to Ninja movie is canon, and that in the Road to Ninja movie, the limited Tsukuyomi creates an entire new universe and transports Naruto and Sakura there. Since the infinite Tsukuyomi would be a much larger scale version of that, he says that it can even be scaled to multiversal. The first and most popular argument, as I said, is the argument that Kaguya's dimensions are uni in size, and that she was going to destroy them, therefore she scales to uni, and since Naruto scales to her, he would also scale to uni. Rather than getting into semantic word games over the Japanese translation, or arguing over the canonicity of the Naruto Storm games like most people will do when it comes to this debate, I'll actually grant, for the sake of the argument, that Kaguya's universes were in fact universe-sized, and that she did create them, and that she was going to destroy them in one attack. And I will argue, despite granting this, that this still wouldn't get her to universal AP. First, we must establish what is being referred to by AP in the context of power scaling. When somebody says that a character has XAP, almost all of the time, and by almost all the time, I mean I haven't seen a single instance where this isn't the case, that person is referring to, well, this character has, let's say, country AP, and the character that I think this guy beats has mountain level durability. Well, therefore, my character with country level AP can damage and probably one-shot the character with mountain level durability. Okay, so what's being referred to by AP? The capability to damage. The problem that this creates for the Naruto uni meta is that capability to damage is not measured in total destructive capacity or total joules. What is it measured in? It's measured in a combination of joules per standardized volume and impact surface area. But generally speaking, what's really going to be relevant for this debunk is joules per standardized volume, so I'll stick to that. What's the joules per standardized volume going to be for Kaguya's expanding truth-seeking orb? Well, it's going to be really bad, because the whole point of the attack is that it was going to expand to the size of the space-time in order to destroy it, which completely eviscerates the joules per standardized volume of the attack. Meaning, even if it does destroy the universe, since it was also the size of the universe, the attack does not have the attack potency of a universal attack. The same point of contention goes for Amaterasu's arguments as well. Because even though Kaguya, granting what he's saying, would be warping an entire universe, well, that would be energy spread across that whole universe, which makes the attack extremely unimpressive. The point that I'm making is actually directly demonstrated in the instance that Amaterasu brings up. Because even though Kaguya is applying, supposedly, universe-busting energy to these space-times, somehow the air, the gas, right? The rocks, everything. None of it is destroyed. Why? Because at a standardized volume level, right? Let's say each cubic centimeter does not receive enough energy for it to be destroyed. And the same would go for any fictional character that you try to pit Kaguya against. Let's say you're pitting her against Sukuna, right? If Sukuna were to experience this attack, why should I believe that despite the fact that the rocks aren't destroyed, somehow Sukuna, who's going to be scaling to town level at least, probably, from what I've seen at least, why should I believe that he's going to be damaged by this supposedly universal AP attack? He's not, because it's not universal AP. At best, it's universal total joules, granting everything that Amaterasu's saying. And even then, that's where most of the community will come in and make points of contention. Now, when I brought this up to Naruto fans, this is usually where they'll kind of accept what I'm saying and then say, well, okay, but what if Kaguya just takes this universe warping energy that she outputs with her own chakra and just condenses it down into a normal attack? And my response to that would be, first of all, prove she can do that. It's not been demonstrated that she can do that. And second of all, this would actually go against the narrative from what we've seen. For example, why can't Naruto use the chakra that he puts into a giant Rasengan and use it in a normal Rasengan? Would that attack not just be more potent? Is Naruto just really stupid? Or maybe when you put more chakra into an attack, it grows bigger, like what we've seen from Tailed Beast Bombs, for example. There's no basis to say that Kaguya is going to magically take all this energy and condense it into one tiny attack. That's just not been demonstrated at all. Last and most certainly least, I'll be looking at the multiversal argument based on the infinite Tsukiyomi supposedly transporting the people under its genjutsu into new dimensions based on a filler movie. Well, Noodles will argue that it's not filler, but let's look at what the actual series shows from the infinite Tsukiyomi. When people are put under the infinite Tsukiyomi genjutsu, they remain within the normal Naruto world, and they're turned into Zetsu. No, they don't go to a different dimension, and that alone is enough to debunk the whole argument. I literally don't need anything else.